Hello, everyone. This is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is Prehistoric Facts Extra Episode number 88. And this is going to be my review of the very popular dinosaur documentary called When Dinosaurs Roamed America. So this is a review, so I'll give you my thoughts on it, of like the pros, meh, and cons of this when it compares to today, and also go through like the cast and crew, and yeah, let's actually get started with this, shall we? So let's actually start with the cast, crew, and the debut of the show. And so it's directed by Pierre de l'Espagnol. I hope that I pronounced that correctly, because I mean I probably butchered it, but it's probably French or otherwise Spanish, but I think it's French. Um, a producer is John Copeland. The composer for the music is Christopher Franke, or Frank, and the narrator is John Goodman. And and you have the cast, which are the paleontologists, is Dr. Paul Olson, Dr. Jim Kirkland, Douglas G. Wolfe, Karen Chin, and Dr. Phil Curry. So those are the paleontologists that are featured in this show. And the When Dinosaurs Roamed America debuted or premiered on July 15th, 2001. So this show is over 23 years old. So in 2 more years, it would actually be 25 years old. And so that's going to be interesting when we celebrate the 25th anniversary of When Dinosaurs Roamed America. Uh, and so let's actually get to the pros. The pros for this, I have a lot of them, and so it's going to go through a lot here. I apologize for the text of this. This is the best that I could do to get all of it in one slide. But yeah, let's actually get started. The first pro is the Coelophysis colors. And so, yeah, the Coelophysis in this one, I love the colors. I love the green, I love the yellow and red, and even some blues that were actually featured on this dinosaur in the Triassic segment. Just as a reminder to everybody that has not seen this, this show is not an episodic show. This was just like kind of like a made-for-TV documentary movie, and it was made by Discovery Channel. Just so you know. And so yeah, the Coelophysis colors, the colors on Coelophysis, oh my gosh, it's so good. The Triassic reptiles, I love how the Triassic reptiles were featured in this show. And they were very well represented, especially some ones that have not been shown at that time in other paleontology documentaries. The CGI in this in When Dinosaurs Roamed America is spectacular. It's really, really spectacular. There might have been a few mess ups with, like, say, like getting the animals to cooperate with the location setting, but it's still pretty good nonetheless. It almost looks like it looks like you actually are looking at something that Jurassic Park probably did, but really it's Discovery Channel, and Discovery Channel at that time was really on top, was really on fire with their CGI. The location settings, I like some of the location settings uh, in this uh, in this documentary, especially the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the 90 million year segment of When Dinosaurs Roamed America. It's just really, really well done for the settings. Now, there's only one setting that I was kind of very iffy about, but that'll get to that. I'll get to that later. The anatomy segments. This documentary has anatomy segments, and I love that about this. Is that it's so fresh at that. It was so freshly well done at that point in time uh, in 2001. Uh, but like Planet Dinosaur, BBC show, kind of started to do that when they probably took some inspiration from When Dinosaurs Roamed America and decided to actually incorporate it into their show, which was actually really, really, really neat. And so I love the anatomy segments in this. The Dilophosaurus design, in terms of like its color and also for its time of when it was designed. Like I like the design, the grain with a little bit of like a peach color on the crest. Like it's just really neat. I like the design of the Dilophosaurus. The paleontologists' explanations. I like how they actually incorporated like the explanations uh, into this into this documentary, where they actually kind of broke away from like where you were uh, in terms of the time of the dinosaurs, and you just kind of go back to modern times, and you're just like listening to the paleontologists explain uh, like um, like something that actually was going like what they interpret what the rocks were actually saying at that point in time, and it's just really neat. Morrison Formation dinosaurs, the Jurassic segment was probably my favorite segment in this uh, in this documentary. It's just so well done at that point in time. I think they put a lot of focus in the Jurassic, especially the Morrison Formation type of Jurassic period, the late Jurassic. It's just really well done. Dryosaurus, Stegosaurus, and the sauropods that were featured, Camarasaurus and Apatosaurus, very well designed. Those were very good designs. The Allosaurus cooperative feeding. That was one of my favorite bits of that Jurassic segment. It was just so good. I liked it how it was just incorporating like how like a group of Allosauruses just were just like attracted to the sounds of a dying sauropod and just basically start feasting. You know, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. And then you get to the Cretaceous segments, and there's two Cretaceous segments, and there were also two Jurassic segments. But the two, the first one of the Cretaceous was around 90 million years ago in New Mexico, and they showed Zuniceratops and some feathered dinosaurs. I think this is the first uh, paleontology documentary or dinosaur documentary that featured feathers on dinosaurs, and I think that was very well done at that point in time. Very well done. And the forest fire scenes in the uh, 90 million years ago in New Mexico. That was very well done, especially the paleontologist's explanation of why there was evidence of a forest fire. Very well done. I love that. The T Rex design and even the family of T Rexes, like wow, just the colors of that of the T Rex, like the black on the on the tip of the jaws and the nose, and you got the tiger stripes on the back, orange with a little like pale white on the bottom. Like it's just really well done. I love the colors of the T Rex and also the T Rex family type of uh, like parts that they actually showcased in the late Cretaceous. The KPG extinction event that was done really good, done really good. At least it did actually mention that how big the meteor was or the asteroid was and where it hit and how much devastation it actually left. Of course, one of the biggest pros on here is the score, the music. The music is so good. Christopher Frankie did amazing job with the music. I love the music of this paleontology documentary. It's just so good. It's right up there with Walking with Dinosaurs. Some things that I thought were meh at best. The Desmatasuka sounds like I do understand why they actually incorporated like some mammalian and also some reptile sounds into some of the prehistoric creatures, but it looks like with the Desmatasuchus, it looks like they actually incorporated like pig sounds. Like I don't think a Desmatasuchus would actually sound like a pig. I think that's a little too far fetched. But even though, like, I understood where it's coming from, some of the animals that were placed in some of the settings, like the Triassic one and also the early Jurassic one, like I kind of felt like that they were just like placing certain dinosaurs in a certain area because like well they felt like well in like this dinosaurs were on this time, but even though it was in this state, why not actually put it in this state so that way it could actually be featured. Like you can feature a dinosaur if you want. Like they had liberties of actually putting a dinosaur from that was not from that state and actually just put it into like the state that it was more likely not found in terms of fossils, like Coelophysis being in New York, Dilophosaurus and Centauris being in Pennsylvania, where there's no evidence to suggest that they were there, but there probably was some dinosaurs that looked like them that were probably in those areas. But is it possible that Coelophysis was in New York? It's a possibility. It's a possibility. Was Dilophosaurus in Pennsylvania? There's still a possibility of that too, but their fossils have not been found in those areas. Centauris. This is one of the most controversial dinosaurs in this show because, well, first and foremost, Centauris is kind of considered to be, like, say, I wouldn't want to say it's like, say, an invalid species. It's more of that it's one of those dinosaurs that just is just kind of filled with controversy right now in terms of like, is it is it a valid species or is it a not valid species? Right now, it's just kind of like in between. Right now, it's like it can be a valid species, but of course, it might not be a valid species. Um, I don't like it that they actually say that like Centauris is the ancestor to all theropods when clearly Dilophosaurus is a theropod, and that was probably something that could have been put onto the con, but I understood what they were going for. Some of the dinosaur sounds, like, I could give them a pass on that. Like, that's what you got to do in those situations because people want to hear some of the dinosaurs roar and make some sounds. Like, I get it. And even like using the predators to make sound before they actually go attack. Like, a predator's not going to do that. A predator's not going to like make itself known in the area of the prey. Like it's not going to do that. It's going to be as quiet as possible to make sure that it can actually sneak up and attack. That's what it's supposed to do. Dilophosaurus' size in this show, I felt like it was a little bit too small because when you look at Dilophosaurus compared to the Ankylosaurus that was in that show, you can kind of say like, wait a minute, why does Dilophosaurus look so small? Because even though Ankylosaurus is not that big of a dinosaur, it's not that big of a sauropodomorph. It's just not a really big dinosaur. And they kind of made Dilophosaurus kind of shrunk down a little bit. I think it's because of the Jurassic Park effect, where they make because Jurassic Park made Dilophosaurus really small, and of course, they probably didn't have the budget to actually make a full size Dilophosaurus because Dilophosaurus is supposed to be like 7 feet tall and over 20 feet long. But it looks like in this show, the Dilophosaurus is probably like say like say uh, like say between 5 and 6 feet tall, and probably was like say 15 feet long. You can make the case it was probably not fully grown, but then that would mean the crests would actually be a bit smaller. But yeah, I get it. I get it, but like I think that was a Jurassic Park effect. The dromaeosaurs of the raptors 90 million years ago. Like I do not know in the Zuni uh, mesoquarries in that area of New Mexico. I don't know if there was any dromaeosaurs that were found there. There might have been, but I would probably say that like because they didn't really say anything of what type of dromaeosaurs these were, but they used Dromaeosaurus as a model for the raptors. And Dromaeosaurus was never around 90 million years ago. It never lived in New Mexico. It was mainly in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Canada, and also some parts of Montana and South Dakota. That's where you find Dromaeosaurus. design of the feathers of the raptors. Like they made them a little bit more like fluffy feathers. Like at the time, because they did know that some of the raptorial dinosaurs, the dromaeosaurs, did have feathers. It's just that they didn't know what kind of feathers they had on them. But I give them a pass on the feathers there. Northern I thought the Northern design, like, it looked cool at the time, but of course there's problems with it. Like, like the one of the toes on the animal looks a little bit more like it's supposed to be the dew claw, but really it's kind of pointed forward instead of back, and also like it should have been fully covered with feathers. It should have been fully covered with feathers instead of just having like feathers on top of the animal and also just be bare belly. Like, but I get it where they were going for on that part. Triceratops herd, that's still like iffy right now in terms of evidence. I think at the time they just used like what the other ceratopsians, like say Centrosaurus, Pachyrhinosaurus, they lived in herds. Triceratops probably did as well, but what the evidence is actually saying is that right now is that Triceratops did probably only lived like say in smaller herds, maybe like say the females and the uh, young lived in small herds, whereas the males were on their own, um, kind of like Cape buffalo. But uh, but that's still to be determined with Triceratops herd. Anatotitan, really, Anatotitan is just Edmontosaurus. Anatotitan is just Edmontosaurus. So, because at the time, Anatotitan was actually considered to be its own species, but what evidence actually says is that, like, no, this is not a new species. It's just Edmontosaurus. It's just that it's the continuation of Edmontosaurus, because there is like Edmontosaurus that was around 70 million years ago, and then you actually added in, and at the time they thought like, well, this duck-billed dinosaur looks pretty big, and it might be bigger than a Montosaurus, so it's got to be a new species. But really, when they looked at the bones of an Atatitan, they see like, no, it's just a Montosaurus. It's just a really large Edmontosaurus. That's really what it was. But give them a pass on that because it was a thing for its time. The Quetzalcoatlus design, like I thought the eye was too far back, but really you can barely see the eye. You can barely see the eye on Quetzalcoatlus, and also Quetzalcoatlus looked a little bit too skinny for my taking. And of course, the Tyrannosaurus Rex dimorphism, saying that the females are larger than the males. That there's no evidence for that right now. At the time, that was considered a thing, but today it's not. It's not. But give it a pass. So it was a thing from its time. Now, some things that I did not like about it. Compare for today. That's basically what I'm trying to do here. Is compare for today. The Permian extinction. The Permian extinction in this is wrong. At the time, it was a controversial like hypothesis of that like an asteroid caused the Permian extinction. But the thing is that the evidence points to is from the Siberian traps was volcanic eruptions that actually caused the Permian extinction. The events of those volcanic eruptions, not an asteroid. Uh, it's mainly because like they did find like iridium in some parts in the Permian rocks, but it's not widespread. This was more likely the case that the asteroid impact happened earlier before the Permian extinction, but it was not the main cause of the Permian extinction. Of course, some of the animals are shrink wrapped, so that does look so it does look like it's a product for its time. Like Coelophysis looks too skinny. Um, so you can see like if there's not much fat on the animals, it almost looks like it's just skin, muscle, and bone. That's it. There's no fat. There's no like organ like bits in there too either. So it just seems like it's a little bit too much of shrink wrapping. Pronated hands. There is pronated hands uh, with the Ankylosaurus. There's also pronated hands with the theropods, and that's not very good because it's like a whole thing of Jurassic Park. the Triassic extinction, saying that a comet actually entered the Earth's gravitational pull and then disintegrated. Look, there is iridium from the Triassic period, but really it's a very, very small amount. Very small amount. So what it really is the case here is that there was probably a meteor shower that did happen, and it actually and some of the meteors landed on Earth, but it was not the main cause of the Triassic extinction. It was mainly volcanic eruptions, and so that was actually a thing. It's like it's kind of almost like saying like a meteor or an asteroid caused all the extinctions. Like that's not really the case. That's not really the case. And so like that was just like really just trying to throw in uh, the KPG extinction event and just kind of like, oh, it might have happened in Triassic, it might have happened in the Permian. Like, not really. Ankylosaurus locomotion, like saying it walked on all fours. Like, look, at the time they thought like prosauropods or the sauropodomorphs did walk on all fours. But now it's looking more like that the prosauropods or the sauropodomorphs did walk on their hind legs. They did walk on their hind legs. They did run on their hind legs. So that's how they did it. And they had their front limbs, free for them to be able to use. It's just that when they got much, much bigger to become sauropods, those became like extra limbs for locomotion. And so yeah, the Ankylosaurus one, Ankylosaurus locomotion, that one's a little bit on the wrong side. Ceratosaurus kill, because you see the Ceratosaurus it does kill a Dryosaurus, a juvenile Dryosaurus. But the thing is that what it did is it actually shook the Dryosaurus juvenile and then threw it onto the ground. I don't, you see, Ceratosaurus would probably never have done that. It probably just took a bite and probably did some up and down motion to actually like make more lacerations onto the prey and then just drop it to let it bleed. That's probably what it did. Not really shake its prey. It didn't actually have that ability because its teeth are not designed to do that. Stegosaurus stagomys are tail spike size. It was said in this documentary that Stegosaurus had 4-inch spikes. That is dead wrong. So either John Goodman was given like really bad information, or otherwise, like the, or otherwise maybe the producers just like thought that like 4 feet meant like 4 inch. They actually misinterpreted 4 feet with 4 inches. But yeah, that was definitely all wrong. The crests of the Allosaurus, I thought they were a little bit too far forward on the animal. Like the crest should have actually been a little bit more above the eyes, a little bit more above the eyes. But you know what? That's what the design was at that point in time. Grass in the late Cretaceous, that did bother me with the end of the Cretaceous period segment, where it looked like that the Triceratops, T Rex, and Titan were walking in grass, and that's not right. That is not right. But yeah, that's what it was at that point in time. But but the thing is, grass really didn't really evolve until after the age of dinosaurs. But even though there was like ancestors to grass in India during the late Cretaceous period, but it wasn't fully true grass. Overall, my thoughts, like, I like the storytelling. That was a big plus. The narration is amazing. John Goodman is underrated as a narrator. I think he is so underrated as a narrator. I think he should do more narration for some documentaries because I think he does a great job with this. Of course, the score is amazing. The great score. Dinosaurs look cool for the early 2000s. That's what actually I'm trying to say to you guys, is that it's really a product of its time. Um, some of the information is dated. Yeah, the information is going to be dated in this show when you watch it today. Size of some of the dinosaurs not quite accurate. You can definitely tell that like some of the dinosaurs were either shrunk or actually were like looked a little bit bigger than they should be. And of course, like I said, it's a product of its time, but it's still very entertaining. This is a very entertaining. This is probably one of the most entertaining of the paleontology documentaries that is out there, and so at least you get like a great entertainment out of it. My thought of it, my grade is 7 out of 10. Like, yeah, the information's dated. Some things just don't quite add up. But even though the overall designs of some of the dinosaurs is really good, the settings were pretty good. The late Jurassic period segment was my favorite of all the segments, and yeah, this is such a great paleontology documentary. I highly recommend it. How you can watch it, if you have a physical copy of it, like on like a DVD or Blu-ray, there it is on DVD and Blu-ray. If you have the Dinosaur Central Pack DVD, like when you got it, like say, because I got that back in the late 2000s. I have that, so that's how I watched it. But Dinosaurs Roamed America. If you want to watch the fully released version, that's on YouTube, and that's like an hour and 30 minutes long, and still very easy to watch. It's still easy to watch, and like all you have to do is just find When Dinosaurs Roamed America, and you actually have the full thing right there on YouTube. Um, and the Dinosaur Central Pack kind of has an edited version of When Dinosaurs Roamed America. Kind of made it more like, say, if it was supposed to be like, say, an hour and 15 minutes or just an hour, but it's still fun to watch. I highly recommend you guys check this out. It's still a very good paleontology documentary. The next episode will be on September 26th, 2024, and there'll be a special episode to let you guys know what kind of prehistoric I'm going to talk about, so stay tuned for that. And also, you can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com. There's going to be a Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you should put your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers are private conversations, so please put your questions in the comment section on any Facebook post. And also, for you YouTubers out there, like the video, subscribe to the channel according to my analytics. So a lot of you guys are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet, so please feel free to hit that like button and also hit subscribe. And like I said, before many videos, as the YouTube algorithm works, is that the more likes the video gets, the more likely it gets spread out to people that are interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. Hit that like button, and also share the videos, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs and other prehistoric life in paleontology and geology in general. So please feel free to do so, and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so that we can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out. And also for you YouTubers out there, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section, because I do read them all. Your questions do mean a lot. All of you that send me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube for the Q&A episodes, you guys do a great job, and keep up the great work and sending me some of these great questions. Make sure you keep your questions short to the point, because I'll follow them on Instagram at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there, and on Threads it's the same thing at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care to paper laundry. And also, for your younger people out there, to make sure listening to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. So, best motivation you could have a good education. It's very important to have a good education. So, with a good education, you get a good job in the future. Good job in the future. That's it for now. Now, see you guys next time.